لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. This is As You Answer the Call. I am Rashida Abubakar, your regular anchor, welcoming you to another edition of the program. Since Saudi authorities announced new Hajj regulations ending the issuance of visas 50 days before Arafat, NAHCON and relevant stakeholders have been working out strategies to ensure that this new resolution is strictly adhered to by Nigerian pilgrims. To achieve this, NAHCON and Pilgrims Board across the country have mounted a enlightenment program for intending pilgrims. The focus is on the need to pay the 4.5 million naira initial deposit and have it remitted before the end of December. With the deadline fast approaching, NAHCON management and executive of Pilgrims Board met recently to take stock of the process of registration by pilgrims and how states are adhering to the request to remit Hajj deposit to the Commission's accounts. In our Spotlight segment, we shall focus on the details of the meeting which reviewed the level of preparation for the 2024 Hajj. Still on the program, we have other regular segments such as NAHCON News Diary, which highlights the activities of NAHCON and other stakeholders in the Hajj industry. All these and more shortly. Keep watching.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The program kicks off with the News Diary. Top in the lineup, NAHCON sets up committees to review catering and accommodations guidelines for the 2024 Hajj. And NAHCON approves over 100 private companies for 2024 Hajj. Stay with us for these and more. Keep watching.
We are going to study with the responsibility of reviewing the guidelines.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has set up a committee to review the guidelines for catering and accommodation services ahead of the 2024 Hajj. The committee, which is headed by the Commission's coordinator of Hajj Savings Scheme, Dr. Aliyu Tanko, has the following terms of reference: to evaluate the current accommodation and catering guidelines, to assess the current standards for pilgrims' accommodation and catering services, identify areas of improvement. Unveiling the committee, NAHCON Chairman Malan Jalal Ahmed Arabi said the exercise is to ensure that pilgrims have value for their money.
Things do change within hours, not even days or weeks. And for you to flow with the trend, you need to be on top of your game. And you need to be dynamic and changing as you progress. The good thing about it is virtually all of you had been actors in the exercise of 2023.
Responding on behalf of members of the committee, Dr. Aliyu Tanko appreciated the chairman for the confidence reposed in them, saying they will carry out the assignment diligently.
We are committed.
In a related development, a committee constituted by NAHCON recently to review operational guidelines of the National Medical Team Operational Guidelines has submitted its report. Head of the committee and senior technical advisor to the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Saidu Ahmed, presented the report to NAHCON Chairman Malan Jalal Ahmed Arabi. While receiving the report, Malan Jalal Arabi commended members of the committee for completing the review on schedule, saying NAHCON will study it thoroughly and act appropriately.
I want to assure you while thanking you for the sacrifice, that we will look at your report most dispassionately, with the much compassion that is expected, to again assure you that where we need further clarification or another teamwork towards its actualization, we won't hesitate to knock on your doors.
We actually arranged for.
Earlier, in a PowerPoint presentation, Dr. Saeed Ahmed highlighted some of the key recommendations of the report.
So the need to have adequate training for medical personnel on the electronic medical record is key to ensure that we also reduce the waiting time for the patient.
The National Medical Team is responsible for the medical needs of Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia, mainly at the primary healthcare level. Still on the 2024 Hajj planning, the management of NAHCON and that of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, are perfecting plans to ensure smooth airlift operation at the various departure centers across the country during the forthcoming Hajj exercise. This was part of the discussions that when NAHCON played host to the delegation of FAN's 2024 Hajj Committee at Hajj House. NAHCON Chairman Malan Jalal Ahmed Arabi and the leader of the delegation, Captain Mukhtar Yusuf, stressed the imperative of partnership between the two organizations, with the status of the 16 airports expected to be used for the forthcoming Hajj being a major talking point.
We don't take your position as partners for granted. We take it serious, and we want you to see us too as partners in progress, as a team with a common purpose, that working together will all be the happier for it.
We started the preparation early this year for Hajj. Last year, before your tenure, I'm sure the team will be aware that some of the airports in this country were not able to perform the Hajj. But the issues we have with those airports are being outlined. So I'm quite sure that this year they'll be able to perform Hajj in those airports.
In other news, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has approved 110 private companies to participate in the 2024 Hajj exercise. The companies qualified for the issuance of license and slots allocation for the 2024 Hajj after going through thorough screening exercise conducted by NAHCON. Consistent with NAHCON policy, the names of the successful private tour operators will be published in the national dailies, the Commission's website, and other means of communication. 20,000 slots will be allocated to the qualified tour operators.
Alhamdulillah, you are still watching As You Answer the Call, a public enlightenment presentation that keeps you abreast of the activities of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, and other Hajj-related matters. It is no longer news that the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has set the end of this December as the deadline for state to remit Hajj fare to the Commission's accounts. How are the state, the FCT, and the armed forces adhering to this directive so that Nigerians can beat the deadline set by Saudi authorities? Answers to these and other questions in the next segment, Spotlight. Keep watching.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
The management of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, executives of State Pilgrims Welfare Boards, the FCT, armed forces and other stakeholders are redoubling efforts to ensure that Nigerian pilgrims are registered in line with Saudi new guidelines, particularly adhering to the deadline for the issuance of visa. A major approach towards achieving this is through the different forms of awareness campaigns mounted across the country to educate intending pilgrims on the need to make the deposit of 4.5 million naira by the end of December 2023. To ensure that effective enlightenment is carried out, NAHCON management held a strategic meeting with officials of the State Pilgrims Welfare Boards and other relevant stakeholders at the Hajj House. The meeting took place on Tuesday, the 31st of October 2023. Top on the agenda at the meeting were action plans for the 2024 Hajj exercise. This include, among others, level of preparations for 2024 Hajj across the states, pre-Hajj visits, securing of Mecca accommodation and feeding, visa deadline set by Saudi Arabia. Some of the resolutions at the meeting were to intensify efforts on pilgrims awareness programs on the need to make early deposit of 4.5 million naira as directed by NAHCON, call on states to make remittances to NAHCON account before the end of December 2023. Addressing journalists at the end of the meeting, Chairman of the Forum of States Executives Pilgrims Welfare Board, who is also the Executive Secretary, Nasarawa State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Malam Idris Al-Makura, explained further.
We have intending pilgrims that deposited maybe 1 million, 2 million, 3.5 million. But to get to that 4.5 million actually is low. But I think we're going out for enlightenment program, and inshallah, we'll have a good turnover before the deadline.
Sequel to this decision, the State Pilgrims Welfare Board embarked on pilgrims' enlightenment and are soliciting the support of clerics and traditional rulers to help in alerting intending pilgrims not to hesitate in making Hajj fare payment in time. As a follow-up to the resolutions of the previous meeting, on Thursday, the 30th of November 2023, the management of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria and the executives of State Pilgrims Welfare Boards, the FCT and Armed Forces held another round of meeting at the Hajj House. NAHCON Acting Chairman Malam Jalal Ahmed Arabi chaired the meeting, which focuses on the following updates: number of registered pilgrims, number of pilgrims that paid the approved 4.5 million naira initial deposits, amount of money generated and remitted to NAHCON account, as well as sensitization of pilgrims for 2024 Hajj.
Every day as we receive from you, we update our system and we informed the authorities that this is it, this is the level at which we are, statewide or nationwide. And then it's another strategy of putting the high authority on its toes to know what the expectation is out there by those interested, those involved, and those that will even be curious to know.
540 million is for the 120 people.
While briefing the meeting, state executives and officials of the FCT and armed forces took turns to highlight the level of preparations in their respective boards, particularly on the number of those who paid the minimum 4.5 million naira initial deposit.
Yobi said was allocated 1,960 seats. The total number of pilgrims that paid, the number of registered pilgrims, 286. Total number of pilgrims that paid, 4.5 million, 128. The total amount generated, 834 million, 30,388.5.
We are given the allocation of 528 slots. The total pilgrims that have registered so far are consisting personnel, members of the families of personnel and others. We have 220 of them. Number of pilgrims that have paid 4.5 million, we have 70.
The total allocation we have in Kebbi State, 4,752. The people who pay 4,500,000 is 828.
On the part of those registering through the Hajj 7 scheme, the coordinator of the scheme, Dr. Aliu Tanko, gave a breakdown of the payment recorded. The FCT has registered 65 intending pilgrims who paid above 4 million naira. The figure is the highest compared to all the 36 states. Edo has registered only one person.
For Adamawa, we have those that deposited less than 3 million. They are 18. 3 million and above, 3 million up to 4 million, there are 3. 4 million and above, the same 3, which means they are ready to go. They are ready to go.
As the officials gave highlights on the situation of registration in their respective boards, NAHCON acting chairman Malam Arabi further stressed the need for all stakeholders to intensify awareness campaigns to draw the attention of intending pilgrims on the imperative of adhering to the deadline. He said NAHCON has produced jingles in various languages which will run on radio stations across the country.
Those that help us to reach out to our people in the villages. We have met all of them, and they have given us our assurance that before the deadline, so we will have exhausted our allocation, inshallah.
The payment is not encouraging nationwide. We should go back and let the people know that if they are hoping for any extension of time, from the other end, which is Saudi, there's likely not going to be any extension.
We in Sokoto are trying our best to see that we meet the deadline, despite the fact that there are a lot of changes this year regarding the timing and the payment, the hike in the price of Hajj seats. But by the special grace of Allah, we are trying our best to see that we meet the deadline.
In all, the preparation for the 2024 Hajj is gradually taking shape as ad hoc and standing committees for the forthcoming Hajj are coming on stream. The committees are that of e-track portal registration and National Medical Team Guidelines Review.
MashaAllah, the program is As You Answer the Call. Coming up next is Making the Hajj. Tonight, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam takes us through discussions on Umrah or Lesser Hajj. Stay with us.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
Apart from performing the Hajj once in their lifetime, the Muslim Ummah are also encouraged to perform the Umrah or Lesser Hajj. What then is the Umrah or Lesser Hajj? How is it performed? And when?
Umrah is a visitation of the...
On Making the Hajj tonight, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam answers these and other questions.
Allah in His infinite mercy made mention in one verse where He says, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ, meaning you fulfilled the Hajj rite and Umrah rite for Allah's sake, meaning to observe Hajj and Umrah for Allah's sake. So if we say Umrah, what is Umrah? Umrah is a visitation of the Holy Land, the sacred land, meaning to visit the Kaaba Mosque, that is Baytullah al-Haram, with the intention of performing Ibadah.
The 3 pillars of Umrah or Lesser Hajj are Ihram, Tawaf, and Sa'i, or the walk between the hills of Safa and Marwa.
But for Hajj is 4, plus these 3, and you add Arafah. That's so. Arafah is the only difference between Hajj and Umrah. All the exercises are the same.
To begin with, pilgrims performing the Umrah rites start by declaring intention and assume the state of Ihram.
First of all, an intending Umrah pilgrims will now, first of all, take the intention of Umrah. That intention will take place in what we call al-miqat. Miqat means appointed places for pilgrims to take their Hajj or Umrah intention. At the intention place, you are expected to take a shower, ritual shower. Then perform ablution. After the ablution, you now stand and perform 2 raka'at nafila. Then immediately you now do the intention.
After the Ihram, the pilgrims perform Tawaf, which is another pillar of Umrah.
Starting from where we call Hajarul Aswad. You start from there, then you come back to the place, you round the Kaaba from Hajarul Aswad, come back to the same Hajarul Aswad, you had 1 round. So then you do it 7 times. Since that it is Umrah, the time you just arrived, you are needed not compulsory, but you are needed at least to jog. For the first round, second round, third round, you jog. Then you continue normal walking. But for women, they don't need to jog.
Next is for the pilgrim to do sa'i, that is, the walk between Safa and Marwa.
Prophet ﷺ says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started with Safa. Therefore, he too will start from Safa. That is why starting point for sa'i is Safa. So you now go to the Safa mountain. From there, you now face the Kaaba. You recite at least Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillahi wahda, wa nasara abda, wa hazama al-ahzaba wahda, up to the end. You recite this at the Mount of Safa as you are facing the Kaaba. So now from there you now start walking, normal walking. Up to the time you now reach after a few meters, as you are walking few meters, around 50 meters around that, you see by your own right hand side, green light. So now they just do it across, just for you, just to know. So as you reach that green light, as a man, you start jogging. But women, they can walk normally. So, but as for man, you need to be jogged. So after you start jogging from that green light, you reach another green light, you stop jogging, you continue walking normally. You recite as much as you can the number of supplications, the same as you did at Tawaf. So when you reach the Marwa, you now do the same thing you did at Safa. You face the Kaaba, offer some supplication. So as you reach Marwa, you had one round. We call it one round. Then from there, you now come back. You do jogging between the green light. Then you now come to the mount, the Safa Mount. Now you have two. You now go back to Marwa, you have three. Come back to Safa, you have four. Go back to Marwa, you have five. From Marwa, come back to Safa, you had six. Then from Safa, you now go back to Marwa again. That is seventh round.
With the completion of the sa'i, male pilgrims will be required to shave their head, while women, on the other hand, will cut a strand of their hair.
So when you shave your hair, Alhamdulillah, you have come to the end of Umrah.
Alhamdulillah. We shall continue with the discussion in the next edition of the program and will focus on the reward and lessons of Umrah. Now it's time to know the winner of last week's quiz and the question for this week. Good luck.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Welcome to the quiz segment. The question in the last episode was, which type of Hajj does not require pilgrims to offer hadaya or animal sacrifice? The correct answer is Hajj Ifrat. The winner is Muhammad Musa Wobrawa from Sokoto State. He provided the answer ahead of others. Muhammad Musa Wobrawa will be contacted on how NAHCON will reach him with the prize he won. A quiz winner will get 25,000 Naira cash prize. This is part of NAHCON's efforts in social investment in Nigeria. Now to the quiz for this week, and the question is, what are the three pillars of Umrah? Again, what are the three pillars of Umrah? Text your answer to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry the name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing.
Once again, good luck to you. Up next are your messages. Fatima Muhammad from Sokoto State sent in the first message. It reads, Assalamu alaikum. I am impressed with how NAHCON is managing Hajj activities. May Allah reward you all. Ado Shehu from Kaduna State sends the second message. In it, he prays to Allah to help NAHCON succeed in subsequent Hajj, just as we witnessed in the 2023 Hajj. This is where we draw the curtain on today's program. See you same time, same day next week with another edition of the program. But before we go, remember that you can send your messages, comments, observations and questions through our mobile phone number and other social media platforms. Once again, thanks for watching. Ma'assalam.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا